Okay, welcome back, everyone. We have our recording starting now. What I want to do is do a little bit of explanation of this specific problem
Please do.
as as I should, right? But what the issue with this problem is not it's not in doing the problem itself, it's in understanding what it is. So that seems to be the hard part of this one. And the reason I chose this one is because in my experience, a lot of the prompts for uh, testing for a job interview or just an exam that they will give you to pass to get to that interview stage, they'll give you a timed algorithm that it would just be you log in, access, it'll give you the prompt, and then you have to write the function and then submit your algo, and then based on that submission you'll get a feedback whether you will go on to the next phase or get it, get the call. So with this algo, the prompt is difficult to read, but the actual function isn't that hard to write. It's understanding what the problem is and how we can get our function to read it. Okay, so let me share my screen and do a bit of explanation. And then we'll go around and share our answers between groups, and I'll share my answer at the end. I'll post my answer on GitHub as well, so you can download it and analyze it if you want. Okay, so here, let's reread the prompt and then interpret it. Okay, so this is the hard part of this algo. There's an algorithms tournament taking place. Okay, so that already can maybe mix things up, right? Because we're so used to seeing Python, HTML, C# in their respective languages, but now they just represent team names. And this whole beginning of the prompt explains how the competition works. So there's an algorithms tournament taking place in which teams of programmers compete against each other to solve algorithmic problems as fast as possible. So it's just a competition, all right? And in this competition array, we have the lineups of teams against each other in the tournament: HTML versus C#, C# versus Python, and Python versus HTML. The teams compete in a round robin where each team faces off against all other teams. That means that the competition works where one team has to face all the other teams. HTML has to face C# and Python. Python has to face C# and HTML. So all teams have to face each other on a one-on-one battle competition. And each competition, there's only one winner and one loser. There are no ties. Okay, so that's how we should read the results. 0 is the home team is the winner, and 1 means that the away team is the winner. The away team is the winner. No, wait, let's read that. We have to get to the end of the prompt. So let me not get ahead of myself. Given an array of pairs representing the teams that have competed against each other, an array consisting of results of each competition, write a function that returns a winner of the tournament. So we want to know who won the most competitions based on reading this array of the names of the teams in the order of away and home. And then we see the results here, which show whether the home team won or the away team won. The results array contains information about the winner of each corresponding competition in the competitions array. So we see here home team is on the left and away team is on the right. So in this competition, HTML is the home team and C# is the away team. And this competition, C# is the home team and Python is the away team. And in this competition here, Python is the home team and wait, let's see. Yeah, Python is the home team and HTML is the away team. Okay, so that's how we should read this sub array of arrays. The results array contains information about the winner of each corresponding competition in the competitions array. Specifically, results at I denotes the winner of competitions. So this here results denotes who won out of this lineup in the tournament. Specifically, results at I denotes the winner of competitions where 1 in the results array means the home team won and the corresponding competition won, and 0 means the away team won. So 0 means away team won. Let's write that down. 0 equals away 1. And so that means 1 means home team 1. So when we read this first competition, HTML versus C#, we get a 0 for this one. So that means our away team won. Which one is the away team? When we read here, home team, away team, this one here is the away team. So 0 means away team won, C# won this competition. Now we read the second one. 0 means the away team won. All right, who's the away team here? C# versus Python. Python. Python's the winner there for this one. And lastly, 1 means the home team won when we read the results. Who is the home team? Home team is Python. Okay. Throughout the bootcamp course, we will help you understand the prompts, exactly what needs to be done to break down and interpret the prompt correctly. But it's not always the case when you get a prompt for an interview, okay? So just throwing that out there, this is why this one is difficult. It's the prompt itself. Do we all understand how to read the results with the competitions? How now we should write a function to be able to do that? Okay, let me take a poll if it makes more sense now than before we started. Okay, so this one is turning out to be a little difficult. The answer itself is not so difficult. So let's go around. Would anyone like to share their result for how they solved this one?
I can go if no one else wants to go.
Okay, thank you, John.
So we started off by naming the arrays, and then we created a function called findWins or findsWin. We set some variables to the corresponding teams so that it would hold like the point value. And then within the first for loop, we have a temp variable that holds the competitions at index I, which is going to be, for the first I value, it's going to be HTML versus C#. And then a results value that holds the index at the results array. And then we put a bunch of if statements. So if results value is equal to 0, so if at this index the result value is equal to 0, we want to say the winner is temp1 because we want 0 to be corresponded with the away team winning. And then we had to put a bunch of if statements for the winner, because we can't really use these symbols, so we would just say C# is equal to C# plus 3.
Okay.
And then for HTML plus 3 and Python plus 3, and then an else statement to say if results value is 1, then it's the same exact thing. We would just look at the first index.
Okay.
And then we pushed all of the teams into an array so we could find the highest value point team. And then we set a highest value temp variable. We set it at -1. And then we also have an index value right over here with another for loop that goes through this array length. And then we say if highest is less than r at I, then we want highest to equal r at I and then index at I. So we'll get the highest value here. And then another bunch of if statements that say if r at the index value of the highest is equal to C#, then we want it to console log C#. And then same thing for everything else. If it's equal to HTML, then console log HTML. If it's equal to Python, then console log Python. And then when we call the function, we get the answer as Python.
Okay. So lots of if statements, but we got it working, right? So
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. Okay. This is great. Great example. Does anyone have any questions for John's group? Now, did anyone else do it differently? Any other group do it differently than what we saw in John's answer?
Yeah, my group did, but I don't really understand how we got to where we did, but Vincent helped us out a lot. I understand a little bit, but we use the key value pair.
Okay. The key thing to do when we don't understand how a function is working is to T-diagram. So if it's not clicking after I show my presentation of my answer, then what we want to do is maybe take an hour sometime in the day and go through this function and T-diagram it slowly. Okay. So let me share my screen and then we'll take our short break and then do our morning stand-ups after this. So, okay. Now we have the competitions array and the results array. We have that before we start the function. Okay. So that's what I'm putting in here. That's what's invoking the function. So I have that to a console log. All right. Now our function starts. We have competitions and results. We're receiving these two arrays. And so I won't T-diagram these, but you see them there. Now, I created an object to save the score and the name of the winner. All right, and so I also have a score map object. You don't have to have created the same variables the same way to save the values. You could have created an array as well to save the values, or saved it to individual, variables that hold numbers, as you saw John's group do. I just decided to make it this way. And I have a for loop that loops through the length of the competitions. And the length of the competitions array is 3, right? Because it has 3 values, and that is the same length as the results. The results is always, in this scenario, because we're not going to have more results than we have competitions. We're going to have the same amount of results as we have competitions. There, I can use this for loop to also loop through and get the values of results as well. Okay, so I have one for loop. And in the for loop, I said, let the home team equal competitions at I at 0, right? Because this for loop is going to loop through, and I is going to equal 0 to begin with. And when I equals 0, we are at this place. So I said competitions at I at 0 equals home team. So this one is going to be the home team. And in this scenario, and in this scenario, competitions at I at 1 is the away team. Okay, so I've just defined these two variables so I can easily think of, I can just use these within the score map. I don't have to write score map at competitions at I at 0. So I'm keeping track of my values for myself, just so I know I can write easier code. All right, so if results at I is equal to 0, now we're reading the results array. We can read the results array at I, even though we're not looping through the results array, because the competitions array length is going to be the same as the results array length. And we can use I, we can use that same I variable to access the index values of results. So now I'm saying if results at I is equal to 0, if it's equal to 0, now we're going to interpret if it's a win or a loss. So we then say score map at away team. So we're giving a value to score map, and we're assigning it to equal itself or 0 plus 3. So score map at away team or 0 plus 3. So we're starting off with the score map. Let's console log score map at this point so we can see what I'm saying. Score console log score map. So I'm going to run this function now and show you what I'm doing to score map as I'm running through. So our score map, the first time we loop through, is going to say C# and 3 plus 3. And if results at I is not equal to 0, then we hit this else statement. That means it's going to be 1. And we add to the score map the home team plus the score here. All right, so I'm adding to results the name of the team plus the score in the score map. Now I'm reading the score map, and I'm going to ask if score map at away team is greater than or equal to score winner.score. So winner.score, at initially we set it to 0. So if score map at away team is greater than or equal to winner.score, then we're going to change this winner object. We're going to say winner equals this now. Score map at away team and name at away team. So we're assigning this object values if we find that the score map away team is greater than the current score. In the other case, we hit the else and we say, if it is not currently greater than the current winner, then we say that the winner equals this score. Let's console log now.
Can you elaborate as to why you have or 0 on line 61 and 64?
Right. Let me do it without this or 0 so I can show you. And let me just invoke the function. So I'm just going to run the function, and when we hit a console log, we're going to see it on our console. Oh, I didn't highlight it. 1 second. If I don't have the or 0, we are getting that there as a, not a number. Let's log it again to see the difference. So initially our score map is an empty object. Do you see that there? So there, in the object, when we are assigning values in it, we have to account for if this number here, when we're adding +3, what are we adding +3 to? If we're adding +3 to something that is not a number, then we won't have it saved. That's why we're seeing NaN. So this is an easy, this is like a shortcut way to add to this object its value, its key and value pair when it had not existed yet in here, predefined. You see how this one has values predefined? Score is 0, name is a string. Well, in this case, our score map does not have a key value pair. We're adding it to it fresh. And if it doesn't have a value initially to add 3 to, that's not a number, we have to write or 3 here at the other side of the key. Does that make sense now? It takes some use to getting to see it and understanding it, but that's what it means. If the object is empty and we want to add a key value pair, and we want to add to that key value pair's value, if it has no value to begin with, we're just adding 3, then we have to say or 0 to account for that. It's just a shortcut way of writing it to add to an object. So don't get tripped up on this. Let's understand that this is adding to the score map the key value pair. And we're adding to that pair initially, so we have to create a number for it to add to. So this counts for that not being defined yet. Does that make a little more sense, Ben?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Okay, and we're running low on time, so let's take our break real quick here. But lastly, I just want to explain if this one here, if score map at away team is greater than winner.score, this is checking to see if the current score is higher than the score maps winner. So we can change this. Okay, and then we have the return at the end. We return the winner.name. You can, with this information, we can return a lot more than the winner name. We can return the whole sequence what the prompt told us to return. Let's see, I'm trying to pull up the prompt. C# beats HTML, Python beats C#. All this information is now saved to my object. So I can print all these statements in any order that I want with the information that I have saved to my objects. Okay, so you guys will have this code on GitHub. You can T-diagram it and break it down, console log at different points, run it to see, you know, when I made that change there, if I deleted it, how it would work. So you guys can test and play with this code on your own time now, okay? So let me stop sharing and I'll stop the recording as well.